Hi everyone. It was pretty much a mixed day, I guess you could say, in the stock market with the Nasdaq and Nasdaq 100 up. Looking at the Nasdaq 100, you can see that it rallied slightly today, up 0.27%, actually closing higher than where it opened. So overall, a pretty good session for the Nasdaq. I keep repeating, I would love to see this index pull back. So I'm still really kind of hoping for that to happen. But with the Nasdaq also up 0.18% and with it also up higher than where it opened, it's just a pretty strong market, and so that's good confirmation. Now, the good news is that the Russell 2000 did pull back not quite a bit, but did pull back today. But the good news is that in the final 5 minutes of trading, IWM and the Russell 2000 were a bit higher off the lows, so overall, pretty solid close, I would say, in that index. Same can be said for the S&P 500, which was just barely down today and volume was lower. Another positive sign for the pullback. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average volume came in below average, and the NYSE, as you can see, also pulled back. Volume wasn't below average, but well below, the day before, just like the S&P 500. So overall, good pullback in these indexes. The Nasdaq 100, still keeping my fingers crossed for a good pullback. We only had one sell today. TTM is a 50% sell because it's closing below the low a day of the signal date, which was just the day before. It was the only CAN-SLIM only play. BITA and YY did not move ahead higher, and while you can go ahead and sell some of it, I'll move one of my cut losses, sell stops, to the open, not the low a day of the signal date now. And the same with YY. I will move it up to the open of the signal day on Friday instead of the low a day, which is just cutting hairs, but it'll prevent, if we are wrong on this signal, prevent us from losing a little bit more, a little bit less. It'll prevent us from losing a little bit more than what we should be losing. But overall, the patterns look fine. But TTM doesn't look fine. It should have closed above where the low a day is. So with it closing below that, it's a 50% sell. Why only 50% if it's failing the signal day's low day? Because we got a great fill, basically. We got a fill pretty actually below where it opened on the 31st. So it opened at 46.71, opened here at 46.65. So great fill overall. And because of that, we can give this position a little bit more room to wiggle around, especially with volume being lower today and BOP rising and overall the pattern staying true. So the next sell stop will be with a close below 45.12. The next sell stop will be a close below 44.53. And that's it on the end of the sell side. There were no other sells. On the long side, there were only a few signals that really triggered today that were interesting. GoPro, as you can see here, it's still deep on the right side of a cup base. So just because you saw it move today 9% doesn't mean that it necessarily has to, break out and go higher here. It could get up to its old highs and then handle out. That's what I want to happen. It's basically up just a bit much in 2 days, up 23%. Seems like it's pretty risky with just a normal overall pullback in the stock. But GoPro, nice move today. Also, Southwest Airlines starting to break out. Volume was well below average, so I'm not going to take it. To be honest with you, this is when we should have taken love back, was on the 20th. We didn't, so, if it keeps on going up here, we're going to go ahead and miss out. And ETE was a potential new long position. This is in the pre-perfect speculator scan. It's not quite a perfect speculator scan stock because I believe the reason why would be is because it's not up 100% from here to the lows, and that is absolutely the case. 11.3, 11.3. Yep, 74, 73%, so that's the reason why it's not in the main one yet. But the problem is that earnings are on the 5th, so this is a no-go. Also, TMF, a potential long signal here off the 50-day moving average. Nice bullish intraday reversal, closing higher than where it opened. So this is a potential long position. I will not be taking a position, but I wanted to show it to you. Also, wire looks like it's trying to bottom. Look at all that volume off the lows. I thought that was interesting. ALWD, I would love to see a handle here. I really wanted to see it consolidate sideways after, Friday's move. But once again, on Monday, it's up again. So now hopefully we get another handle. And then DVCR was kind of impressive. JRJC also up the 200-day moving average. MNDO a breakout, more smaller cap stocks, but overall there were some moves, but nothing super impressive as you can see out there. So besides that, I have 2 new long positions today, only giving out 1 to subscribers on all sections of the website. CVTI is pulling in a second bullish intraday reversal. That's 2 in a row here as it tests the recent support levels around the 1913-2006 level. But right here, what we're going to do is that your first cut loss, if you want to do it on a closing basis only, would be a close below 2039. We can go and start pairing some back there. Like I said, from this position right here in this stock, the way it looks, I want this thing to start ripping higher like right now. So CVTI closes below the 2039 level, start taking out 25-50% of it. But hard sell stops on the book for me, it's going to be below the 1959 level, so I'll have a hard sell stop there. If it closes below there, we'll be out of half the position. And then I'm going to have a hard sell stop below the 1913 level just in case. So CVTI closes below those two levels, I will be completely out of CVTI. But 2% only, can't be 2.5% because the base isn't long enough. Can't be 5% because not only is the base not long enough, but we're in an overbought market and we're not kissing and touching the 50-day moving average. So I would need to see a lot of things line up. I just posted a past big winner 2012 that we just recently fully sold here in 2014, HEES. Go look at the HEES pattern and compare it to CVTI. You should be able to see the difference. Now VIMC, this is going to be a more speculative one. It's supposed to have earnings today. Not quite sure if they did or not. I know they had a conference call about the earnings. Not sure what's going on, but I'm going to have to do more research into it. As long as it's not gapping below 9:05 in the morning, VIMC is going to be a 1% position. I'm going to have a hard sell stop on the books with the move below 882. So if it hits 881, I will be completely out of VIMC. It's only 1% of the account. It's a speculative position based on a very hot chart in a hot stock that has some recent hot earnings per share and sales growth that's also in play with the momentum chat rooms. You can see here on a Zoom 3, this is a very nice long-term chart going back to the beginning of 2014. You can see here on a Zoom 4 up close. It's been very bullish since the August lows. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a great Tuesday. Excuse me.